Well, today I'm going to play 5 different songs. Well, maybe I need a little bit of backstory. I've been taking lessons for only about a year from a wonderful man named Elijah Zuri. And I invited him, but he couldn't join us today, which is really sad. But I want to thank him for teaching me all of that theory and for the piano songs and the investment that he's put into me. And this is kind of not just me up here, but also explaining how the work that he's put into me as well. So I've learned a couple songs, and I have a little selection that I've planned for us today of 5 different songs that are pretty short and should be pretty fun. So our first song is from a guy named J.S. Bach. Has anybody heard of J.S. Bach? Yeah. It's short, it's sharp, and I think it'll have a really good start to our little show here. Oh, and it's called solfeggietto, which basically means to move up and down the keyboard really fast. Perhaps one of the most famous pieces of classical music ever created. It's a wild favorite in rehearsements, but for all its popularity, Für Elise has perhaps one of the most ambiguous histories of any classical piece we know of. In fact, pretty much only the thing we know about Für Elise is the name Für Elise, which is the name of a woman. And so theories absolutely abound all over the place. And the going theory is pointing towards one of Beethoven's students, who he probably fell in love with for a time. And when he figured out that she was engaged to another man, rewrote the piece so that it was harder for her to play. And she couldn't play it anymore. So the song is perhaps overplayed in a lot of circles, but it carries a lot of emotional significance that is perhaps untapped to the normal person. And so I want to capitalize on that by not only slightly modulating it, by introducing some sections of Für Elise Reimagined, which is a recent recomposition of Für Elise, but also some of my own touches, which I've put into it but also the spurned love side, which takes on a darker side of Für Elise as well. So that's the history, and I hope you'll enjoy it. written for a movie soundtrack for a rather obscure movie from the 80s, which, when I first heard it, I really loved the sound of it. And it really capitalizes on a less conventional, more artistic side of what people usually see of the classical world of art. It has a really unique harmony, which I think makes it a unique gem in this recital. So I hope you enjoy. Now, the fourth one that we have is actually from my favorite composer, Chopin. And a little bit backstory on this piece is that Chopin loved this piece so much that he wanted to play it at his funeral. Over the funeral march that he made, over many of the other pieces that was written, he wanted this piece in particular to be played at his funeral. And he actually said something that I think really connects to this piece. He said, after one has played many, many, many notes in my entire life, it is simplicity that is the crowning reward of art. And this piece really conveys that. It's simple, it's mostly block chords in the left hand, and it's also one of the most beautiful pieces that's ever been created by Chopin. So I hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
which is by far the longest I've ever learned and perhaps one of the most challenging. It really is something special to my heart. And it was written by one of the most interesting composers I've ever heard. His name is Debussy, and he lived around the turn of the century. But that's not really important to what we're talking about today. What's important is that piece is called Clair de Lune, which means light of the moon in French. And there's kind of an untapped potential of, well, of course it's tapped. It's what the song means, is what's special. Light of the moon is more or less an analogy of something that we hope for. See, the light of the moon, in reality, is a reflected light from a sun on the other side of the earth that we can't see yet. So the sun is rising, and we can't see the sun yet, but we have the light of the moon to give us hope. And so for us Christians, it really is an important thing to us. And to me specifically, fighting my addictions to pornography and looking for hope when there was little hope in my life, and light when there was little light to guide me in the darkness. It really is something special. And what I can really take away from this piece is that the light of the moon is set in a really dark place. And what this piece really means is the borderline between a place between happiness and sadness, and how the two can almost mix, where we're happy that something's coming, and we're sad that it's not here yet. And for many different reasons, we feel both happiness and sadness at the same time. And that's really reflected in how the music is created. In fact, it uses diminished chords, which are kind of sad and frustrated, and happy major chords at the same time, mixed amongst each other. So really the meaning of this piece fills up everything inside the piece. So not only do I hope you enjoy this next piece, I hope that you're also edified and are able to take something away from it. Today, I'm really grateful to have all of you here. All of you are some of the people of a very small group of people in my life. Sorry, you're a small part of a very large group of people in my life that really have affected me and poured into me and made me who I am. And I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for each one of you. So thank you.
Wyatt has completed his requirements for graduating from high school. So I want to present him with this diploma.
Yeah.
And he made very good grades.
Excellent.
I tried my best. And with that, we're about to head off to start our dinner, which should be very tasty. I know that Tim works very hard on it, and Katie. And so I guess we can